We need to have a serious conversation today and break down how to self-manage your Airbnb while cutting out 80% of the work using automations. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down self-managing and make it so ridiculously easy that anyone can do it, even a boomer. Like my neighbor Stu. How's it going? That's not Stu, actually. How's it going? Like my other neighbor Stu. Stu, say hi. Hello. That's perfect. By the way, today's video is brought to you by Guesty, but a little bit more on them later. I was actually shooting a YouTube video across the street the other day at my Airbnb, and he came and marched up to me, and I thought he was gonna confront me and be mad that I was opening an Airbnb in the neighborhood and all that good stuff, and it turns out that Stu is a fellow host. And actually, funny story, so is that neighbor, and so is that neighbor over there. And when I asked him what kind of automation tools he used to run his Airbnb, he said none.
This is the worst.
So today we're gonna make him the automation belle of the ball.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
So what makes your Airbnb special?
Basically, I think it's very cute. It's got a full kitchen, full washer dryer, plus the patio gives them some external opportunities outside. And being in the Heights, I think is an ideal location, historic neighborhood that is close by restaurants, coffee shops, and a little hike and bike trail.
Here's what I love about Stu. He really embodies the original spirit of what short-term rentals were supposed to be. He's all about hosting, and he even gave me a few tips that were, to be honest, gold.
When you walk into an Airbnb or the house, you open up the fridge. The last thing I like to see is an empty fridge. I like to fill it up with whatever they want, and they frequently ask, can we have that? Well, of course you can have that. Put something in the fridge.
I love it. So you provide beer, Gatorade,
Wine, vodka, tequila, whatever you want. Put something in the fridge. They don't ever touch it, which is amazing, but I like to make them feel comfortable, and anything else they want, happy to provide for them.
I love it. See, the teacher's already becoming the student over here. Now, Stu has obviously mastered the art of hosting, which is why it was particularly heartbreaking to hear him say,
I don't use any automation tools.
So let's take a quick step back and just establish what automation even means in the world of short-term rentals. And it's basically the concept of using softwares and services, platforms, AI to do the menial tasks associated with running a short-term rental. And when used properly, you can use automations to automate about 80% of your business. Not 100%, 80%. And the other 20% is the actual human touch and hospitality aspect of running any given short-term rental. But by cutting 80% of your workload by using automations, you're obviously going to be saving a ton of time every single week, time that you can use to focus and improve and scale your short-term rental business. And when it comes to automating different components and tasks associated with your short-term rentals, well, you've got options. You can automate things like guest communication, cleaning crew coordination, pricing, check-in instructions, check-out instructions. You can even automate asking for reviews. How do your cleaners know to come and clean?
I'd notify my cleaner.
Oh, you're coordinating with them after every stay?
Right.
See, at scale, if you have 10 Airbnbs, then in theory, you have 10 different cleaners. Those are 10 different cleaners that you have to text and coordinate every single time a guest checks in and checks out of your short-term rental properties. Now, let's say you have 5 guests per property every single month. That's 50 times that you're gonna have cleaners coming in and out of your short-term rental properties. If you have just 5 people stay at one single Airbnb, you have 10 Airbnbs, that's 50 people coming in and out every single month, meaning that's the amount of times that you have to coordinate with your cleaning crew, which just doesn't play well with efficiency. So that's why you want to work to streamline and automate the coordination of your cleaning crews with a good property management system so that whenever a guest checks in and checks out, you can automate sending your cleaners a text or email letting them know that someone's coming in and coming out of the property, and you let them coordinate the details with their own team. So I see you have a keypad here, which means that there's a self-check-in component to your Airbnb. How often would you say you change out your keypad code?
Rarely.
Here's another perfect example of something that you can automate in your business, like changing out the keypad code every single time a guest checks in and checks out. That way, you don't have the possibility of a sketchy guest checking into your place and stealing your stove, which, yes, has happened to me before, and is a lesson in why you should automate changing out the keypad every single time a new guest comes into your property. So hard to say goodbye. So if you're asking yourself, okay, I like the idea of automation, how do I even do this? You need a property management system with all of these different tools and functionalities that will let you streamline your operation. So when they book a reservation at your place, do you manually send them a message?
Day or two before their arrival, we might exchange text messages.
You don't have an automated message go out ever. You're just checking in on them.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So what about
Nothing automated.
Okay, nothing automated, guys. Guest communication, by the way, is the #1 thing that you can automate in your business that will save you the most time. And yeah, maybe you can handle one by yourself, but I promise you, at scale, things will start falling through the cracks. Let's just run through a basic set of communication that you're gonna have with one guest in any given reservation. They're gonna book your place, so you're gonna send them a confirmation message confirming that they've booked your place. You're gonna send them check-in instructions the day before they check in, telling them how to get in. You're gonna send a follow-up message the day after they check in to see if everything's going okay and if they might have any questions that you can answer. You're gonna send them checkout instructions the day before they check out, and then a few days after they check out, you are gonna send them a request to leave you a 5-star review. That right there is 5 messages. Now, on any given month, you are gonna be hosting between 5 to 7 sets of guests. Let's just take the average there and say 6 guests. 6 guests mean that you are gonna be sending out 30 messages every single month. If you have 2 units, that's 60 messages every month. If you have 5 units, 5 units. 5 times 6 is 30, 60. If you have 3 units, it's 90. If you have 4, 120. If you have 5, 150 messages that you send out every single month. And hopefully you can understand why it might fall through the cracks. And basically what I'm getting to here is you can pre-write these messages, templates if you will, send them out on your behalf and take that workload off your back. And while you're at it and asking for a review in your automated message, you can also automate leaving reviews so that you don't have to bang out a dozen reviews every single week. Which I did tell to Stu, and I think he was finally coming around to the idea of using automations in his business. Do you leave reviews as well?
Yes.
Okay, you could also actually automate that side of it too. Like
I would.
It's called
I'd
like
to.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. And now a quick word from today's sponsor, Guesty. Now, if you've been following along in the video and you've been watching me talk about how to streamline and automate your short-term rental, you're probably thinking, well, hey, that all sounds good, but how the heck do I actually do this, Rob? In order to do this, you need a good property management system, which is why I use Guesty. And there's some really exciting news here with the Guesty platform, and it's that they just launched Guesty Lite, which is their all-in-one solution for helping hosts increase revenue. Guesty Lite is gonna be best with hosts for 1 to 3 property, but they've also got Pro for hosts with 4 to 199 units, and even Enterprise for hosts with over 200 units. So let's get back to Guesty here and why specifically I like it. Plain and simple, they've got a whole suite of tools that help me simplify my operations. And some of my favorite features here are things like their channel manager, which helps me consolidate everything into one dashboard whenever I list on multiple websites and OTAs, online travel agencies. They've got a whole suite of automation tools, all of them talked about in today's video. Their multi-calendar, which helps me eliminate double bookings. I also get a unified inbox with them, meaning if I get messages from all the different online travel agencies, I get it into one simple streamlined inbox. I don't have to log into different websites. And lastly, their mobile app ready, super easy app for me to use, which is obviously where I do the majority of my business is on this device right here. And of course, I've got a little something for those of you that want to try it out. If you use promo code ROBBUILT, you'll get $20 off when you register for Guesty Lite. So click that link in the description down below, use promo code ROBBUILT, and happy hosting. And back to the video. Now, the next level of hosting and automation is to start listing on different OTAs, online travel agencies, which are platforms like Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, and so forth. And when you do start to list on all those different platforms, you want to streamline all the communication into one inbox so you're not hopping around from Vrbo to Airbnb to Booking.com all in a single setting. It's very annoying. And back in my day, we didn't have the option to have it all streamlined into one app, platform, or unified inbox, which the beautiful thing for you is that most of the time you're gonna have that functionality available to you with the right property management system. Now, I will say it does take people a little while to graduate onto different platforms when they're first getting started, because I think the temptation is just to stay on Airbnb because it's easy, which did seem to be where Stu's head was at. You obviously do okay listing it on Airbnb, but do you list on other platforms or other websites?
Nope.
Is there a reason for that?
Never have been drawn to another website that I think is of value, and that might just be a lack of me understanding.
I think the way I always think about this kind of thing is like I could have one set of eyes on me, which is on the Airbnb platform, or I can list on places like Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, a bunch of different websites like that, and just get eyes on me from pretty much every direction.
Well, I'd like to do that. Yeah, I've never really extended it beyond just Airbnb. And you can just put it on Vrbo without, yeah, I guess so. I mean, without being aligned with them, I guess I'm aligned with Airbnb, but I can put it on Vrbo.
Yeah, you would just want to make sure when you do that, that you're sending your Vrbo calendar to your Airbnb calendar so that when someone books on Vrbo, you don't have a double booking on Airbnb. One thing you have to keep in mind if you want to go this route is to automate syncing your calendars between different platforms. And you want to automate this and not do it manually, which was Stu's first inclination.
Or I get the reservation on Vrbo, I can go to Airbnb and block those dates out.
Yeah, I understand why someone might think this, but at scale, in practice, in execution, it never really works out quite that well. Things fall through the cracks, and then you have a Vrbo guest book your place and an Airbnb guest book your place for the same time, and they show up, and then they have to share the house together. It gets weird, but it's kind of cute. Do you consider your short-term rental now passive income or more secondary income or like active?
Passive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
It's just not relevant or necessary for the most part.
Yeah, so it's more supplemental income.
Correct.
But the actual working aspect of it, there's still a little bit of work that you have to do to manage it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not much.
Not much.
Not much.
I like it, but what if there's less work you could do?
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah.
Less work, which would allow me multiple locations. And being in the real estate business, I have looked at other opportunities to get Airbnb to purchase because I think the platform is great for short-term rentals.
Do you want more Airbnbs?
Yeah, I'm always in the market for finding next.
Listen, one thing I want to make very clear is that Stu is actually a pretty seasoned real estate commercial developer. So it's not like Airbnb is some weird, wacky concept to him. He's with it. He understands the basic concepts of real estate. And what I really liked about his story is that he wasn't really in this for the money. He told me that he makes anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 every single month, and it helps subsidize his mortgage, sure. But the reason he does it is because he just likes hosting people. He likes meeting people from around the world, and he's genuinely in this for the joy and creativity and hospitality that comes along with being a host, which I think is really important for all of us to remember because, yes, while there is money to be made here, there's so much more to the short-term rental niche than just making a buck. And that's just a feel-good thing to remember. And it's so clear that Stu believes that because of when he said this.
Hopefully, Trump gets into office and those interest rates go back down.
Not that, this.
It's become so enjoyable with the guests that stay here that I just like doing it. And so the financial gain is nominal relative to the experience I have with meeting people all over the world.
And I think Stu's a great example of what we should strive to be in this community, but maybe like the automated version of Stu, you know? Or me. And those, my friends, are the basics of how you can automate your short-term rental business. Huge shout out to Guesty. I appreciate y'all sponsoring this video. I am a user of Guesty. I have been for many years. I appreciate them. And as a reminder to everyone, you'll get a little something, you know, whenever you sign up with my link and promo code in the description down below. And by the way, if you want to learn how I self-manage 40 units and how I build out my teams and my boots on the ground operation for every unit that I run, then you're going to want to watch this video right here.